Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about PlayStation 3 emulation, but not with our PS3, with ChonkyStation3. And this is a really fun fact about this emulator. Someone's got ChonkyStation3 up and running on an Xbox Series X and S. Now, taking a look here, it's obviously not going to be anything perfect just yet. ChonkyStation3 is still pretty early on in terms of overall development. But I would say this is a huge win for ChonkyStation3. Now, if you are curious about ChonkyStation3 and wanted to learn more about it, like everything we talk about, link is in the description below at the bottom. And they say here it's a work-in-progress emulator for PS3. It can currently boot a few simple commercial games. This is a hobby project I'm developing for fun and to learn. You should not use this to actually play games, at least not for now. And speaking about Xbox stuff, next up we're talking about the original Xbox and Xbox emulation with xemu or xemu, or subscribe to Mr. Sujano depending on how you wanted to pronounce that. Anyways, xemu just got a brand new update you may be interested in. So at the time of filming, xemu version 0.8.31 is the latest update, and as of this update, there's some improvements, especially for something like Halo 2. So they say right here, as of version 0.8.30, and we just talked about version 0.8.31, you can tell the developers are very active. Anyways, they say it fixes multiple depth-related issues in games like Halo 2. And speaking about fixes, next up here we're talking about something that, well, can't be fixed, but Retroid is, I guess, trying their best or trying to figure something out here. We're talking about the Retroid Pocket Mini, and we talked about this one in a previous video when it turns out that there's an actual problem with the hardware itself in terms of the screen. And if you're trying to use something like CRT shaders here, it doesn't play well. And it seems it's an unfixable issue for the device. So here's the announcement right from their Discord. We understand that some enthusiasts purchased the Retroid Pocket Mini specifically for its unique screen features, and we want to address concerns related to the screen scaling issues, particularly when using CRT and pixel grid effect shaders. To accommodate these users, we are offering a limited return window from March 8th to March 14th, during which customers experiencing screen-related issues can return their device. So that's basically a week, actually 1 day less than a week. To ensure fairness and manageability, the policy is capped at 200 return orders from overseas customers. Upon receiving the return device, we will reimburse the cost of the device itself. Now, it's worth mentioning here that this excludes applicable taxes and shipping fees. They go on to say, please note that this is a large and costly endeavor for our team, and we expect a lot of return requests outside of screen-related issues. To help alleviate this burden, we ask that the customer pays return shipping for the product. Now, on top of that, they say as a token of our gratitude, we will offer all Retroid Pocket Mini users a $10 stackable coupon for the upcoming Retroid Flip 2 and Retroid Classic as a thank you for your understanding and support. Now, in my opinion here, this is a very weird and unfortunate situation. I mean, it's unfortunate for Retroid, who manufactured a product and turned out what they manufactured was inadequate. And it's unfortunate for the customers who purchased one of these because if they really wanted their money back, at the end of the day, they're going to be out of pocket at least in some aspects, whether it's taxes or shipping, or actually both. And if you're in Canada, it can be very expensive to ship something to China. Now, if you wanted to learn more about this entire screen issue, I do recommend checking out Russ's latest video here titled Addressing the Retroid Pocket Mini Screen Issues. He talks about his review unit, his initial experiences, he revisits the issue, and then offers his opinions about it. And this video is, well, it's pretty long. It's like 33 minutes long. Now, over on Reddit, Russ created a post, and it's titled, How Would You Address the Retroid Pocket Mini Screen Issue? And he goes over a whole bunch of different things here, and a lot of people weigh in on it. And this person here I agree with. So there's 3 points here. The first one, provide a partial refund to Retroid Pocket Mini buyers to compensate for the reduced functionality of the screen. I wholeheartedly agree with this. I mean, people bought something that didn't measure up to what they were expecting. And I do think providing a partial refund is much more simple and straightforward than having to ship it back to Retroid and then having Retroid having to refund the entire device. This seems a whole lot easier, and I think it's a win-win. The second point here, reduce the current price that Retroid is selling the new Retroid Pocket Mini by that amount, by whatever amount they provide the refund to people. And I also agree with that, as well as putting a disclaimer on the website that it may not work with certain CRT shaders in the way people are expecting. I mean, taking a look at the website, and I don't see any disclaimer here that there are issues with this product or even just a discount. If they advertised a discount and said, hey, you know what, this doesn't work well with certain shaders, I think some people would like that discount and pick it up because of that and not care about the shaders. I don't want to say that the shaders is a small issue, but at the same time here, some people like a deal and some people don't care about shaders. And the third point here kind of ties within the first point, and I would say the third point is just basic customer service. Send out an email, not a Discord post, because not all Retroid Pocket Mini users probably use Discord. Clearly explaining the screen issue and why they are receiving the partial refund on their purchase. I think that's a really good faith move, but I am curious to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below on what do you think the appropriate action from Retroid should be. If they were to refund, how much should they refund on these devices? And if they were to discount it because they obviously have stock and want to continue selling it, how much should they discount and what should the disclaimer be? And speaking about disclaimers, next up here, this is a disclaimer. We're talking about arguably one of the best Game Boy Advance emulators out there, and that's mGBA. Anyways, mGBA just got a brand new update to version 0.10.5. And this was surprising considering the next release was supposed to be 0.11, but this is a very significant bug fix release. So some of the fixes here they say include save state loading leading to a small portion of the ROM getting corrupted until reset, crashing when loading zip files that are too large, and even more. On a side note here, they say this will be the last release before version 0.11 unless a major issue is discovered. And this may be the last release to support Windows 7, 8.1, and macOS 10.9 to 10.12. And speaking about Nintendo, next up here we're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, we haven't talked too much about the Nintendo Switch 2 lately, and I'm not complaining. Anyways, here's some more details about the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 have been revealed. We're not going to have to wait too long for the full system to be revealed by Nintendo in April. But anyways, here it seems that FCC filings show that you can charge the Switch from the top and the bottom. It does have two USB-C ports. On top of that, it appears that the right Joy-Con in the Switch 2 will support NFC, just like the original Switch. In terms of charging speed and power draw, it seems that there's going to be two versions of an AC adapter here. Possibly, I don't know. It's pretty vague, but they mention 15 and 20 volts. Now, the original Switch has 15 volts, and they say here this one's at 15 volts and 2.6 amps. So I'm not quite certain what the 20 volts is going to be and if it's going to be a fast charging situation or not. I've got no idea at this point in time. But what we do know is that it may support Wi-Fi 6. You can go on ahead and check out the article over on The Verge if you wanted to see everything broken down in a lot of detail. I think they do a great job in breaking down the FCC filing. We really don't have to wait too long, though, to guess to see what the Switch 2 is going to offer, considering Nintendo has said that they will unveil this thing in April. And that's only a few weeks away. We're tearing through this year. And speaking about not waiting for too long, next up here we're talking about Forza Horizon 5 on PS5. This game is set to be released on April 28th, so in a little over a month and a half, give or take. Anyways, here taking a look at this, it's generating quite a bit of controversy online for one big reason. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Does It Play gets full credit for spotting this. And they say not that we had high hopes for the future, but this from the official FAQ basically kills preservation for the PS5 version of Forza Horizon 5. The question, do I need a Microsoft account to play Forza Horizon 5 on PS5? And the answer is yes. In addition to a PSN account, you'll need to link to a Microsoft account in order to play Forza Horizon 5 on PS5. This process begins the first time you start up the game on your console. I'm kind of surprised about this one, but I guess also kind of not. I mean, PlayStation received a whole bunch of flack when games they released on PC required a PSN account. And now Microsoft appears to be doing the exact same thing. I'm kind of curious to see if Microsoft does make a statement on the matter and if they say it's this way due to, I don't know, online functionality or something like that. But either way here, let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below, and let me know your thoughts overall about Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation 5. And speaking about Xbox stuff, next up here, we're talking about Xbox and people claiming they've been banned for using a VPN to take advantage of lower-priced games in a different region. So it seems as if there's a number of people utilizing VPNs to say they're from a different area in order to access the store in those different areas and I guess get lower prices. That to me is pretty creative, but I don't think Microsoft has the same sentiment. So they say here in the Game Rant article, Xbox doesn't forbid VPN use, only VPN abuse. However, it does appear that some people who were permanently banned were able to get their accounts reinstated. Some people are pointing out that the Xbox community standards do not prohibit this practice, and they don't see it clearly written anywhere. And I'm assuming those community standards are probably going to get revised sooner rather than later. And speaking about terms of service and account bans and all of that stuff, next up we're talking about Reddit. And this is more of just a follow-up to something we talked about yesterday, where Reddit was unveiling a brand new policy that intended to issue warnings to people who were upvoting a lot of violent content. Well, it turns out that that definition of violent is very broad. It turns out that Luigi is being flagged as potentially violent content, even when referred to in a Nintendo context. So according to the article, and I do recommend checking it out for more details here, it seems that Reddit has quite a bit of work on their hands to really figure this stuff out. I don't necessarily think this new policy is going to be well received overall. I think a lot of people are going to get warnings just based on the fact that something like Luigi could get flagged as potentially violent content. And I mean, we already know how Nintendo feels about people using the words Super Mario, for example, that grocery store we talked about a while back. Anyways, here it's just, well, this is a very weird situation. Now, I don't know about you, but I used to really like Reddit. I think there are still some great subreddits out there, but at the same time as a whole, I just think Reddit is kind of going downhill. I could be wrong with that. I could be out in left field, but I guess let me know your thoughts about Reddit as a whole. And speaking about down, last up here, we're talking about the opposite, up. And it seems that temperatures are up quite a bit for the Nvidia RTX 5090. It's being reported that the 5090 16-pin connector hits 150 degrees Celsius. Now, for reference here, if you don't use Celsius, this is, well, that is very toasty. So converting 150.6 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit is something like 303 degrees Fahrenheit. That is super, super hot. And that is not a very good thing to be happening here. This person says this is no joke and will forever remain a weak point in this generation. Moving forward, I don't know what Nvidia is going to do to try to remedy this and, well, reduce those temperatures, if they're going to have to design a new kind of connector for these things to power them, or what exactly is going on here. This does not seem good in my opinion. And thermal cameras may not necessarily be accurate because they're not necessarily measuring the internal. This is more of a surface temperature, so it could be even hotter here. Overall, though, I would say if you do have a 5090, you may want to pay attention to temperatures and do what you can to cool down these things. And speaking about cool news, this is more of just a fun thing if you play Persona 3 Reload. But if you do play that game and wanted to have Balatro kind of in the game, you kind of can. There's a brand new mod here that puts Balatro on Fuka's laptop. The mod is up on Game Banana, and this is one of the many, many reasons I love to game on PC, because modding stuff is usually simple and straightforward and can be a lot of fun. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state, and I'll see you tomorrow.